Hello, and welcome back to Downtime Activities, and welcome back to Skygate, our 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons camppain that takes place almost entirely underground. Last time you guys got into some trouble.
I think he's trying to say it faster every time.
Eventually this introduction will be like, and that's going to be it. You want to see me do the intro? You want to see me do the intro again? You guys went to the opera, had a good evening, and then got into a bunch of trouble afterwards. In differing ways. You did your carousing. You had a good night. You've gotten quite a few different things built, purchased, some ritual supplies, all sorts of stuff. Had some R&R in the big city after a long trek into the Underdark. And now, I believe we were kind of talking last time, the plan was to potentially go see Kafix the Alhoun, but I don't know if that's still the plan. What are y'all doing? What's the plan?
Alhoun.
Kafix was like the closest one we determined, right?
Yeah.
Because it was to see Kafix and then
Get our bearings.
Yeah.
See whatever it is he wants us to go do, because he'll want us to go do something probably.
Oh, and we were gonna be
secrets.
And we were gonna be bringing that old Dragonborn with us because he wants one last hurrah.
Let Sir Dow Dramastanthian Uncturvius the Unflinching was promised one last hurrah.
Right.
But what if he makes
no bell?
Like, I mean, listen.
What was that?
Like, we know he's not. Okay, we know he's not. But like, what if he makes? Like.
Then the next campaign Erickson runs in this setting will have a side quest at some point to take an old Dragonborn knight on one last adventure, and we just see how many D&D campaigns we can get away with doing that same thing.
See how many? Yeah,
How
before we
long
actually
can he
succeed
survive?
in it.
He's like, how is he in this universe? He wanted one last hurrah and jump through an interdimensional portal and see what would happen.
You see,
Now that he's here, he's looking for one last hurrah.
you see what happened was any other party who accepts his quest dies.
That's the monkey's paw that he agreed to with eternal life. But anytime he seeks an adventure, it's everyone else that
It
dies.
is Sir
I
Dow
would have started
Dramastanthian
venturing
Uncturvius the
solo,
Unflinching,
I
the
think.
monkey's paw.
Basically.
I'm trying to decide if I should, because I think we should start preparing for another expedition. Acquiring the various. I'm sure our boss mans would be quite excited to fund another expedition because the last one was so successful. I think we should start, getting the supplies and stuff together. I might have to spend a bunch of my remaining funds to finish out a Underdark survival kit for
The old man.
this old Dragonborn.
I'm sure he has his own funds if you ask him.
Yeah, but I didn't make you guys pay for your Underdark survival kits.
Yeah, but we were all,
Will, you fail to understand.
We have contracts.
We're contracted with each other. We're
I can't.
coworkers.
I can't take this money with me.
Just remember, that
Dying with
the gear
120
belongs to the company if you die.
Dying with 20 gold and dying with 120 gold is statistically the same thing, as far as my character is concerned.
And when he dies, we have backup for everything.
Yeah.
It's like falls
There you go.
giant hole.
You mean if he dies?
I guess I will get an extra dose of antivenom.
Okay.
And I'm gonna have to get another custom breathing mask made to fit the Dragonborn.
All right.
But I've had them do that before, so just bring
It'll
in
be the same-
Lawless mask
same
and be like,
cost.
give me another one of these.
Yes. Antivenom you get at cost. What was the mask?
I think it was 50 gold, but I may be misremembering.
Trying to, because I remember it was just a little bit extra to have the custom shaped one. It's 50 for a normal sealed and breather mask. We'll call it. Yeah, we'll call it 60 to get a custom made one for him.
Dying
Fit
with
a
10
Dragonborn
gold
base.
is statistically the same thing as dying with 20 gold.
Did we get to reset our madness? You need like a week.
Yes.
Of rest.
So since you guys have spent like a week here in downtime, essentially, your M scores will all go back to 0.
Hooray!
There was much rejoicing.
There was much.
I really think it's the carousing that did it, that reset everyone's madness score.
No, dude. What that says is I have a mil.
A mil.
Damn, you loaded. You got a milli.
You could just fund your revolution to.
It's not about the
Throw the
funds, it's
clients
about the fighters.
He has.
You can't have a revolution without revolutionaries.
That's how Trump did it.
Oh.
Demonetized.
We don't need
Cut that
Thanks
one. We
for
don't
getting
need
us.
that.
Thanks for getting us canceled on Truth Social, you idiot.
Oh, nice.
Joke's on you. Truth Social's already hemorrhaging money at an
Statistically,
exponential rate.
that's like half our audience. Because it really is just a dice roll.
We would
Good stuff.
we would spend a bunch of money paying lawyers to go after these 6 assholes running this YouTube channel, but we can't afford it because we're hemorrhaging money. So let it slide for now.
For now.
This time.
You're
Just wait until someone buys those golden shoes I'm trying to sell as part of my campaign for some reason. Anyways, let's get back to the real world. Am I wobbly?
No.
No, I'm just. This thing above my head looks like a tiny
Oh.
hat.
It's your yarmulke with small cat ears. you're Jewish, but also an e-girl.
E-girls.
Jewish.
E-girls.
That's a fucking joke and a half.
That sounds like an out of context.
That what it is a modification of
That's
an
a
old
shit
one.
joke. Oh god.
Yeah. We are so demonetized.
I'm dying.
Already.
Okay. Oh, good lord. So
Sweet. COVID.
you are able to get those things purchased. Are you guys wanting to just make the trip to the lair of Kafix, or are you wanting to make this the trip to there and then from there starting an expedition? Because that's very different in what you'll need to bring with you.
Well, I assume we're just going loaded for a full expedition. Because Vickelroy doesn't care where we go once we're out of the gate.
Yeah.
So I assume as far as like the company is concerned, that's probably just going to be the standard MO is...
If you're going out those gates, you're coming back with treasure.
Yeah. So I imagine like we're leaving loaded for a full expedition kind of no matter what.
Okay.
If we get to Kafix and he's had a heart attack and die and we just steal all his shit and come back to the city and sell it and it's like a quick one day out, one day back type of deal.
Easy turnaround.
It's, we're still fine.
I found this weird foot in a jar. Is it worth anything?
What kind of foot is it?
In a jar.
The kind that's in a jar.
In a jar.
The pickled kind. The pickled kind. Yeah, so it's fairly easy for him to have you guys prepared by the next day for another expedition. The cart is company property. The goats have had their time to rest, and he can gather the necessary camping and ration supplies for a full expedition with a day's notice. So you guys basically have one more day of getting anything else done you need in the city proper, and then you could head back out of the gates the following day.
We'll give our charge a heads up on when we're planning to leave and all that, so he has a day to prepare or a couple days to prepare or whatever. That way we don't just show up at his house at 4 a.m. and be like, "Get in the cart, we're going to the Underdark."
Which is arguably funnier, but also, yeah, not
Also
soundtrack.
dangerous.
If I go to one of the Forge clans, how much would like a +1 shield cost?
So the Forge clan, it's kind of the way that it would work is like you could get a custom shield made. They could make it of a fine enough material that it could be enchanted to become a +1 shield. So you'd essentially be buying a nice shield and then paying for it to get enchanted by the rune hearts. They don't do enchanting themselves. They're just craftsmen.
What if they just enchanted my current shield?
Your current shield, if it's just a generically costed shield, is not fine enough make to be turned into an enchanted one. It has to be made of fine enough materials for it to hold the enchantment.
Also, it's got like chips and shit in it.
Yeah. Okay, so if I go to both of those,
It would be slightly more than a normal shield to get like a fine one made, probably in the area, because a shield's like 20 gold,
I don't know.
I think.
10.
10. So a fine one would probably be in the area of like 30. The enchantment for a +1 shield would be significantly more expensive, in probably the like 2,000 to 3,000 gold range.
Never mind.
Roll it back.
I am giving you guys a fancy city with a magic item shop in it, but magic items are not cheap. Magic is like easily obtainable, but not by financial. Like, it's close by, but it is expensive to get fine things like that made.
Stymied by capitalism once again.
Rise up, brothers!
A +1 shield for every revolutionary.
Your shield, our shield, comrade. Any other tasks or anything you guys want to get done in the city?
I think we're all good.
Okay. Well, you were awoken early the next morning by excited knocking at your door at the Inverted Peaks. Earlier than you were intending to leave early for your expedition, and before the cart has arrived, to see outside waiting an old Dragonborn who is seemingly wearing armor that's well worn, well taken care of, but worn and has seen quite a bit of action, but looks too big for him. It looks like it's armor that would fit him in his prime, but he is a kind of hobbled, thin, hunched old man instead of the like strapping, strong knight he used to be. So it kind of dangles and swings a little bit off of his shoulders more than it probably should. But it's a fine breastplate, and you can see a rapier at his hip. And he excitedly bursts through the door as who would be the one to go up and answer.
I'd send Ingara.
Hingara is?
Angara just gets launched 20 feet back.
Well, Axel's busy making breakfast,
Right.
presumably.
I'm baking breakfast, and Ingara
No
is
one else is up.
always there when I'm making
Jax is
breakfast.
probably up and drinking like
Of course.
coffee or something. Just like
It's just his
He's like a
eyes
dog.
over the counter.
He's like a
watching
dog in
everything.
case any of your like you're flipping bacon. If any of like a little piece falls onto the ground, he's there to eat it. He's just
Angara's your vacuum.
He's like a oh man, that makes me miss Freya
No.
because you'd be.
No.
'cause I'd be like frying bacon or something, and she would just be licking the floor around the stove the whole time.
R.I.P.
So
She was good.
sad stuff.
She's a great dog.
Good dog.
he goes and gets the door because he
And the
probably
door
gets
swings
knocked into-
open.
Yeah, because he's looking like back at the at the frying pan.
And he will basically nearly stumble over Hingara because of his much taller height and his straightforward glance as he excitedly charges in and he says, "Well, you haven't eaten already? Breakfast just now being served? There's adventure afoot. Come on now. Where's the rest of your posse?"
Relax, mister. We ain't even ready yet. We don't have our carriage or anything. As I slowly sip my coffee.
That's the problem. Early start, early rise means that you're going to get to the action earlier.
A lot of the
Time?
Underdark is wandering in the dark.
Time is valuable. Take it from an old man.
Time is meaningless in the Underdark.
Until you run out of food. So eat up.
Yeah.
He's gonna be like, he'll walk over and like, be like, "Well, I did have a bit, but what are you cooking here?" He starts licking his dragony, scaly lips.
It's good old breakfast sandwiches. We're getting eggs, toast, bacon.
Well, I do suppose adventure on a path-full stomach would be foolish. I'll take one.
An army marches on its stomach.
Good choice.
It's true.
That's right.
I'll just mumble under my breath like, "Good choice, old man." And I just take another sip of coffee.
Another coffee swig. You all will have some delicious. We no longer make you roll. You just make delicious breakfast. Everyone has a good, hearty, delicious breakfast, knowing that you're going to be on rations for a while.
I eat one for breakfast, and then I wrap one in a bit of cloth for lunch.
There you go. And
Here's where we find out things in the Underdark are unnaturally attracted to breakfast sandwiches.
Yeah. They can smell the bacon.
No. That is, as a DM, I know for a fact that is not something you do. Because then the players are like, well, if we make breakfast sandwiches, then we can summon a bunch of Underdark monsters and we can kill them.
So you're saying we can abuse this? You know, like if you make some sort of weird shadow puzzle that they have to solve, and they're like, what if we stole it and turned it into an octagon for boss?
No boss will run away from us ever again.
If you guys, there's a nice breakfast. Partway through everyone eating breakfast, the cart will arrive with Sherlina and Ignacio pulling it, and it fully loaded with rations.
Alright.
And camping supplies, including a replacement for the tent that was lost in the last expedition due to an unfortunate magma geyser.
Fun fact, we do not need, we need tents for, like, privacy, you know, between, like, us, but I have, Nimoy's tiny hut now.
Tiny hut.
So I can make a unpenetrable...
How big is the area of that?
I believe it's up to 8 creatures. Let me find it.
Okay.
Let me look up the details real quick.
No, I opened almost
I
right
took
quick.
it very specifically because I'm like, this would be great when we're camping in the Underdark.
10-foot radius, dome of force, 9 creatures of medium size or smaller.
So you all would be able to be inside of that. The goats would not.
No.
So the goats in the cart would have to be on the outside. You will be all in essentially one magical tent together. Like it's not going to be like there's no privacy.
Yeah.
There's zero privacy here and there. You can't set up tents inside of that. So
That's fine.
so long as your guys are good with kind of being sardines, you'll be safe sardines.
In the Underdark, safe sardines are better than dead sardines.
If you're not safe sardines, then you're eating sardines. You're not eating sardines. You're sardines who have been eaten.
I wish we had some sardines.
all right.
That'd spice up these travel rations.
Are you
Would you
kidding?
like
I
to
imagine
not-
most of our travel rations are stuff like sardines.
Yeah.
Would you like to leave the tents behind for more storage space on the wagon, or are you still bringing the camping supplies with you?
I think we can rely on my
I don't really sleep in a tent anyway. So.
dome. So yeah,
Yeah,
we'll, leave
like,
we'll free up some space.
Okay.
I'm the capitalist. I can cut costs.
And when you die, we have no shelter.
Well, yeah, but that's if I die, you guys are screwed anyway.
What are we gonna do? What are we gonna do in the Underdark without a tent? Like with a tent anyway. Keep the rain off.
Yes.
Allows you to
the-
have privacy for whatever reason. I don't
it's
know.
keeping the
Whatever you gotta do.
keeping the slobbering creatures off. That's what it does.
It-
But not really.
in our experience so far, tents offer no protection whatsoever.
Come on,
All
Willie,
they
you
do
were
is
a
muffle
child.
your screams.
You were a child once. Did you not ever hide under the covers to protect yourself from the big scary monsters?
Oh yeah, absolutely. But I'm just saying, it doesn't actually.
But
work.
there weren't any actual monsters then, and if there were, they would just still get you in the covers. I'm sorry, kids watching. It doesn't work. But also, congrats, monsters aren't real. Moving on. If you guys don't have anything else you're doing before you leave, Hingara will, kind of do the like classic sending off of a soldier in World War II, like wave goodbye,
Do you have any
using
other
a
spells
napkin
you
to
want
dry his
work on
tears.
while he's,
Oh yeah, he got detect magic going, right?
He can cast Identify.
Identify.
Yes.
So yeah, I'll have him work on detect magic now.
Okay.
That's his homework.
He will start his studies again to try and learn Detect Magic as well.
He gets detect magic, casts detect magic, realizes you're not actually a wizard.
That would be the ultimate.
You're not actually a booyag.
You're not a blue bag. Oh yeah, I'll turn you into a toad. Say that again.
Yeah. So you guys are able to load up in your cart and head out?
Yes, sir.
The usual triumphant march through the city. Sir Dow Dramastanthian at first is like wanting to like walk alongside and seems very like spruced up and ready to go, but not too long into the walk gets fairly winded and tries and asks if he can sit on the cart while it's right.
You're good.
But yeah. You guys cruise on through. You'll eventually arrive at the gates of Skygate, the great gate leading to the Underdark. If you show your Deep Delver's Writ, as per usual, they'll kind of give you a little bit of a hard time, like looking stuff over, make sure that you're not smuggling anybody outside of the city that seems bad or wrong or anything like that. And there's not really, when you're leaving, they don't care all that much. They're like, yeah, go ahead and whatever you got, get it out of here. But they give you a little bit of a hard time just because it seems like that's what they do when you're crossing this particular border. And then with your Deep Delver's Writ, you are able to enter into the large antechamber in front of the gate, and you know which path to take to get to K-Fix the Alhoon. You think it'll be 2 to 3 days to arrive there. It's fairly close.
Well,
Off we go.
off I vanish into the darkness and never come
So
back.
the usual kind of marching order and strategy.
What's the reaction from our old dragon companion when he notices the bird just disappear?
If you are leaving away from the light and get into the darkness, it seems like his vision is bad enough you would have been invisible to him anyways. He doesn't notice once you get into the darkness that you've turned invisible once you're there.
Excellent.
Excellent. You'll never see me.
I do also make sure before we leave the city to give him his Underdark survival kit,
Okay.
which is a vial of antitoxin for
All right.
obvious
Reasons?
obvious reasons. Which I just realized I wrote down twice. A bag of chalk dust in case he has to fight something invisible.
Okay.
Like, a Moonstalker Ranger or something. A piece of chalk for marking routes, should that be necessary. And a breathing mask in case of bad air, gas, spores,
Lava farts.
just whatever.
The classic terrors of the Underdark. Farts. All sorts of stuff.
Farts, spores.
Fart spores. Worse farts. You all will begin your trek. I need a survival check, and I need a d20 roll from Jerry.
All right. A 3.
Okay.
Starting off with an 18 in survival.
18. It is a fairly... Let me double check. But I believe it's an uneventful day. With a 3... Come on, Matt. Yes, nothing... just leaving the city, so it's not a big deal to begin with. You all are able to march along the path that you kind of know to take. Your survival roll means that you follow those instructions well, and nothing of any real note happens during this first day of travel. You are able to get to a place to camp for the night. I assume you're using your spell to do so. With the spell, I am still going to make you do a d20 roll because your cart and goats are on the outside of the spell.
Right.
So hopefully that's fine. Someone roll me a d20.
I'll do the night roll.
Okay.
Uh-oh. That's a 19.
19, you say? To should you say?
Dead.
Would you mind rolling me another d20?
You were
16.
Our goats are mad.
Our goats are dead.
You have 16?
Yeah.
Okay. And another d20.
14. Man, the dice are on fire.
Stop using that die. I don't love that song.
Okay. We're gonna do it that
Is it
way.
the drow in a hole again?
Another drow down in the hole.
Well, it's the same guy. You're just like, what's he
With
doing over here?
Lamon's tiny hut. Do you hear what's going on
I
outside of the
believe
hut?
so. Let me double check. But I think that I know that it's opaque one way. Like, we can see out, but they can't see in.
Creatures and objects within the dome and cast a spell can move through it freely. All other creatures and objects are barred from passing through it. Spells and other magical effects can't extend through the dome. Atmosphere inside the space is comfortable and dry. It just says that it's transparent from the inside, but opaque from the outside.
Yeah, so it doesn't mention sound in any way.
So you're just like a dark orb thing in the middle that they can't see it. Okay.
You do get to choose the color, though.
Oh, I get to choose the color. I choose a dark stone gray.
See, it's a someone. So like raiders show up to rob you, and they're like, textures haven't loaded yet.
That's a weird boulder. Arrow.
That's a weird boulder. Stabbed with a greatsword.
Well, since they can't pass
You
through,
complete
just reach
your
out, grab
rest,
them,
and
start
everything
dancing
is
into
fine.
I don't believe a goddamn word you say.
Everything's fine, huh? Mm-hmm. Well, if we don't know, we don't know.
I should really start casting Alarm more often.
That could be very helpful.
It's like you do have that, don't you?
Yeah.
I do have that, yeah.
Oh, does my crow notice anything? He would be awake.
Your crow. Let's find out if your crow knows anything. I don't have my dice here. I forgot to get my dice. One moment.
To Google.
The dice roller on your phone for stirs. Just use that.
Two lights.
He notices nothing.
Of course. Useless.
It's almost like something that shouldn't be good at sneaking snuck really, really well. Not that there's anything there.
The
Right.
bird doesn't notice anything, and the bird doesn't notice anything.
That's why we keep two birds. We keep each other in
Yes.
check.
Yeah, with one stone. You all will awaken the next morning. You are back on your trek. You could kind of load up, do your normal stuff. As you go out ahead, Candle, you do, like while you're walking, kind of take a step and kind of slip and like steady yourself. And you look down and there is some kind of weird viscous goo on the ground.
Smell it.
You scoop it up and smell it. It is a acrid scent. It is not pleasant.
Probably do a nature or survival.
Yeah. So, can I do, with my knowledge of the Underdark, can I do some sort of roll to figure out what this might be?
Sure. Go ahead and roll me a nature check. I believe you get to use double your proficiency because it'll be recalling knowledge of something potentially in the Underdark.
Okay, well, that was inconvenient, but kind of neat what my D20 just did. Okay. Nature puts that at a 17.
17. With a 17, you think this probably belongs to some sort of mold or slime creature. The specifics of which you're not exactly certain, but probably one of the many different breeds of slime-based life forms that exist in the Underdark and prey on creatures therein.
Like a shapeshiftery slime, or like a...
Like
or
a,
just like a black
dissolve
pudding
you, like a black pudding style slime, more than a shape changer, like changeling style.
So so what I'm asking is, we don't have a mysterious ox situation going with one of our goats right now.
Probably not. Probably not.
But nobody has speak to animals, so we can't.
Oh
yeah, you are an animal. What am I saying?
But if this doesn't seem like a shapeshiftery slime, then I will assume for now everything is okay.
Is that like residue? Could that residue be valuable in any way?
Probably not. It's
Yeah.
just goo.
You just ate
Yeah, I'd take a sip up.
about some mountain dew.
Shouties.
No, I mean I just put them in there, so they probably
Can
not.
does it seem like, does this residue form like a trail? Like a snail trail or anything?
No. Well, go give me a survival. Give me a survival.
He's hunting for traps.
That is a dirty 20.
A dirty 20. It sort of does. From what you can tell, it looks like it is a trail leading away from your king.
Is it heading the way we're going?
It is.
Okay. Well, I'll just have to keep my eyes open for that then.
I like the
Are
idea it's hard
you
to track because it like
Trying
bounces.
to keep up with its trail, like see where it goes as you move, or are you trying, like you can focus on doing that as well, but if you do so, it'll make it harder for you to do your normal navigating while also keeping up with its trail, unless you slow down considerably. You know it's going this direction, but if you're trying to like continuously look for signs of whether it deviates from the path or not, while also trying to keep your own path going directly in the right way, it'll just make it more difficult.
I mean, I'm moving faster than the wagon anyway, so it's probably fine if I slow down a little bit to try and avoid us being ambushed by a slide. Dark Souls style, where somebody walks over to pick up an item and it just lands on their head.
Go ahead and give me a survival check.
17.
17. You see, like, as you're going, you're kind of going down this main path, and you're able to keep kind of track with both for a while. Not too long after you start out for the day, the slime trail deviates to the left from where you're seeming to be going.
Oh. So long, slime.
Well, he got away with half our rations, so.
Yeah, whatever it is he walked off with is his to keep, apparently.
We're in the Nickelodeon.
No, like a D&D slime, not like
Yeah, but
getting
it's
slime.
It's slime though.
You can also get slime. I can't start that. There's a song that references that. That's terrible but funny. So you guys continue on for the day. Someone else roll me a d20. Jocelyn, roll me a d20.
Mm-hmm.
3.
3. Nothing happens during that night. You guys arrive to make camp for the night.
You made it.
I should probably cast alarm.
You sound like you're using the spell slots for anything else.
It's true.
You're gonna cast alarm?
Anyway. Yeah. Do I cast it on the goats or on the wagon? Because it's not really big enough to do both.
You can't get around the goats and the wagon.
No, because it's a 5 foot.
Can't cast it twice?
essentially. I don't think I can have it up twice. It's not a concentration spell, but I don't know if I can have multiple instances of it active. Maybe I can. I don't
How
know.
does the alarm spell? Oh, I should have brought my spell cards. I have those at the house. I had a Board Fox gift card that I used to buy the little pack of spell cards for the arcane spells.
Oh, yeah. So you are setting up an alarm around the perimeter of this.
Oh no, it's okay. So it can be no larger than a 20-foot cube. So I might be able to get the wagon and the goats with one.
If you have them close together.
If we're in a 10-foot hut, if we're right next to each other, you can get everything.
Yeah, but there's not much
Well,
point in
no,
casting it on us
the
because
hut is a
nothing can
10-foot radius,
Radius, yeah.
and that is a 20-foot cube. So you could probably alarm. A 20-foot cube is 20 feet on each side. This is a 10-foot radius sphere, so it's a total of 20 across. So the sphere would fit inside of the square, inside of the cube,
Big enough for
but you wouldn't be able to.
Yeah.
You'd kind of have to choose either the cube or the cart to have the alarm. Right?
Yeah, I'll do the. Well, there's no point in doing
our hut.
our hut because we're
They can't get us.
semi-impervious in here anyway.
The Rumble Dome is a safe space.
So I'll do it on the cart and the goats and designate that we and the goats do not set off the alarm.
'Kay.
That way, as the goats shift their stance a little bit during the night, I'm not constantly being jolted awake by an alarm bell ringing in my head.
Let's do something here really quick.
Oh, it's not the Rumble Dome. It's the Slumber Dome.
Oh. I get it.
Two men enter, two men
Interesting.
sleep. Two men sleep.
Around the same time, one of you gets a mental sort of message from a bird as an alarm goes off, and the alert that you know something's entering and moving towards the cart. You know that the bird says it sees something creeping along low to the ground near the back of the cart.
Okay. Two arms! Alert!
Everyone kind of everyone kind of quickly rallies and marches out.
How quickly is our old dragon companion rallying, or is he already up and ready to go?
If you guys make a ruckus, then he is like gasping awake, and then very as quickly as he can, which is very slowly standing up, and then drawing out his rapier and charging out, choosing a direction.
He doesn't know what he's charging. He just charges.
That's why
he just shouts out, "Danger! Fear me!" And then he charges out in a random direction. And we'll see. You know what? Let's see if he chooses the correct one.
We just lose him.
He does not. So he charges kind of the opposite direction of the cart, wildly slashing and thrusting into the darkness.
There's nothing over
those
there.
Of you rush. As you rush in the other direction, you can hear a strange noise coming from the back of the cart. But with this alarm, the movement seems to quicken.
We head for the back of the car.
Yep.
Yeah.
Somebody has a light. Something to see by.
I can cast light on my sword.
Yeah.
That's one of the things my sword was on.
Oh yeah. I was like, you have dancing fairy things. Right?
Dancing lights, I cast.
Okay. So as you cast, your sword beams with light, and these orbs of dancing light appear. You can see sloughing out of the back of the cart a large-sized puddle of mud-like liquid that seems to move with some semblance of sentience. Semblance of Sentience, the name of my heavy metal Bruce Springsteen cover band. And it seems to be retreating, essentially. This slimy gunk seems to be, with all this noise and stuff happening, seems to be sloughing off and trying to move away from you as you approach.
Oh, okay.
You, I say, pointing at it.
Can I roll an Arcana to see what
Going
kind
directly
of slime
under
it is?
egregious dick physics.
Sure. Roll it. Well, it wouldn't probably be Arcana on this one. It would be Nature.
Nature. Okay. My nature. I rolled a 2 on the die, so it's a tree. For that.
It's a 3. You're not sure what kind of slime. It's some kind of lizard slime.
Eldritch Plant.
You're shooting it up. So, if you guys are going to attack, we will roll initiative.
Okay. All right.
There ain't no way this beaver's anything good.
It's eating our supplies. It's got to go.
It has to go away.
No. Well, that mine did, but not a great initiative roll.
Justin, you know how to roll initiative?
Is it plus anything?
Plus your initiative bonus at the top. Close to the top. Kind of in the middle by your HP.
Alright, 20 plus.
That's your initiative. So 17.
No one is 20.
Anybody
plus.
20 plus? 15 to 20.
18.
17.
17.
Oh.
Who's going first?
Come on, fellas, this goo can't be that fast.
8.
She wins.
So it was Koskin first, then Jocelyn,
Yep,
and then Jerry.
Oh.
then Skler.
Oh, Skler, not Jerry.
That's retreating? Yeah.
I don't know if I want to fight a goo.
Just breathe fire on it.
Get up to eat off.
Anyone else? No one else 15 to 20 besides those 3? 10 to 15.
10.
11.
Roll one more time for me.
Me?
Yeah.
Got 11?
Tied a goo.
15.
Okay.
Take that, goo.
You were 10, Jerry?
Yeah.
And so I assume that means that our wizard is last.
9. Yeah.
This goo.
Well, first initiative will be Koskin.
It's just like,
Will be
what are you on?
Goo.
Oh, okay.
Look. It's the thing.
It's our doom.
so I'm using multiple tabs on my computer, so I don't always see you guys.
What?
Theogar will be first.
Gotta get that damage bonus so
I gotta get that damage while I still can. I'm gonna run out
course.
the goo.
You charge the goo.
I would like to attack it with a warhammer.
All right. Roll your attack.
Is your Warhammer magic?
Yeah. 17 to hit.
17. Okay. 17 will definitely hit.
Okay, I'm gonna use a psionic strike.
Okay.
That's the noise a psionic strike makes.
Oh wait. So actually adds my intelligence too, I'm pretty sure. So it's a lot.
It's essentially a paladin smite.
Smash, 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 smash.
So it's like 19 damage.
Like 19 damage, or it's 19 damage?
It's something similar to 19.
If the damage was a numerical value, it would be 19.
It's the number
Okay.
closest to 19.
The number closest to 19. Okay.
The integer
Sounds
closest to 19.
It takes 19 damage.
And then I make a second attack.
Roll it.
It's a crit fail.
Okay.
Use Warhammer.
Smites the slime. Smites his own foot.
You just miss. I'll be nice. It's just a miss. After that, you're going to stay put, I assume.
Yep.
Lala, you're up.
I don't know if I want to hurt the slime. It's a little slime, guys.
He was eating our food. We need that to survive.
It's also a large creature, Jocelyn. It's like the size of a horse.
Oh. I got it.
It's like a
What are you gonna
really
do?
big
What are you
puddle
gonna do
of
if he eats
angry
Ignacio?
I don't want that. I guess I'll hit him. I'll hit him.
Don't tell
Okay.
Charlene but Ignacio
Roll it.
is my favorite goat.
Yes. How did you know?
That
I also
plus.
forgot Charlene's name. So.
It's my dice plus.
Yes, you have a plus attack bonus.
So.
Oh, so,
What are you attacking with?
5. So,
Yeah,
that,
so plus
so it'd be 21.
21 definitely hits.
Okay.
And then.
You roll. Yeah, 1d6 and then add 3.
This one?
Does it matter what type of damage she's doing?
But this is slashing, I assume, right?
6 damage.
I believe so, because this
6.
is your short sword, right? Your
No.
scimitar.
Yeah,
It's a scimitar.
Yeah, yeah.
Scimitars do slash.
2 slimes.
So, as you slash down on this, it seems like the slash cuts cleanly through the middle of this thing. The damage doesn't seem to do anything, but the slash where it slashed through remains there, and it seems like there are now 2 slimes.
Well,
God damn it, Jocelyn.
No using slashes.
If you weren't so insistent on attacking this goo monster,
oh my god.
damn, we would have had one slime.
Alright. It's just like the slime cube from Minecraft.
Give her that.
It seems like slashing damage
Is not worth
made it into 2 slimes. It seems to do no damage. It doesn't seem like it really hurt it. It just split it into 2 slimes.
Oh.
Which isn't terrible. If you do that again, I have AoEs.
Just get Dagar in the middle of it.
So it's not terrible. Just it gets more attacks.
Are you doing anything else? Are you going to attack it again? I mean, you could try and split it into more slimes if you want.
No.
You look up, both of them at the exact same time, just shaking their heads.
Listen, statistically, we don't want the action economy to swing against us here.
But AOE's, guys. But AOE's,
100
you can
attacks
take
with 1
it.
hit point each are still 100 attacks.
I'm just gonna.
Yes.
And I go
Back
last,
up
so our
from it,
AoEs
I
are
guess,
as
yeah.
after the.
You can back up, but it will get an attack opportunity. Both
Dude,
slimes probably will.
Both of them
Oh
will now.
god.
Might as well just stay there.
I'll stay there.
You have good.
You jump in, dice 1 slime into a dozen slimes, then take a step back and die instantly.
You get fucking anime punched, like it's just like a blur of punches.
All right. After that, I believe is Dormir.
Can I
Don't
can
use
I
any-
roll some sort of nature to understand what kind of composition this thing is?
You could definitely roll nature to see what you know about this species of slime.
What you know about me?
What you know about me? My slime be cool. My slime be popping.
14.
14. You would know that this... with a 14, you're pretty sure this is what's referred to as an ochre jelly. It's a pretty common, in the grand scheme of things, type of slime in caverns and underdark places. And that you would say... I'd say with that, you would know that slashing as well as lightning damage is not a good choice against this. If you don't want it to split.
Okay. Alchemist fire.
Alchemist fire?
That's what I do.
Okay.
I don't know any of that, how that works.
Let's see here.
I just
I
wrote
believe they have
Alchemist
to make a
fire.
dex save.
One.
Yeah, because you have one ball of alchemist fire that I bought for you, which is
You're just gonna buy another one for me.
I'm not buying everybody multiple Underdark survival kits.
What?
Alchemist
Go ahead
fire
and make a ranged attack roll.
So Dex plus proficiency.
So roll a d20 and add your dex modifier to it.
Does he get proficiency?
It's treated as an improvised weapon,
So
so I don't believe so.
not
Unless
much.
you're out of the tavern brawler.
10.
10. That'll hit. So one of the two of them will get hit by this, and that will burst into flames. It will be taking a d4 of fire damage at the start of each of its turns.
Cool.
Until it does something to stop that.
Is it smart
Is that
enough
the end
to
of your
know?
turn?
I guess I could cast spiritual weapon.
Yeah. Get that damage you want, you still can.
How does
Got it.
spiritual weapon? Is it just like whatever I want it to be as far as the
Yeah,
type
it
of
could be like a
damage?
hammer or
Yes.
something.
You
Yeah.
can choose what type of weapon it is. I
A
believe.
big scimitar.
A really big anvil.
Drop an anvil on
It
it.
just like
Okay. Alright, Wile E. Coyote, it's an
It
anvil.
like literally just gets lifted and goes back to
Well, can I have it be like something that would have fire damage or what?
No.
You can't change the damage type with it. It's just what the spectral thing looks like. I think regardless it deals force damage. I don't remember what spiritual weapon. I think it's force.
It's probably true.
As long as it's not like slashing damage, basically.
Yeah.
Okay, well I'll just do that.
Okay.
As a thunder cleric, your spells specifically do lightning damage. Because fuck you.
You can roll an attack with it as well. The turn you summon.
Yes, you can.
Are you attacking the one that's on fire or the one that is not on fire?
I might as well do the one that's not on fire.
Okay.
It is force damage.
Okay.
That would be a 10 to hit.
10 hits.
Can confirm force damage.
So was my psionic damage.
You have a lot of force damage.
5.
5. It takes 5.
I have the force damage.
Alright. Is that the end of your turn?
Yes, that is the end.
You staying back? Okay. Theogar, these two jellies are going to attack you.
Ah, good choice.
Oh,
Because
they
you're
beat-
close. And you attack first. They will roll it.
Prepare to get pseudopoded.
Bad rolls, though. The higher of the two is a
Keep in
14.
mind that we're probably not in armor.
Oh, right.
This is true.
We woke up.
You are not in your heavy armor.
So
I
it's
have your
10
shield,
plus dex plus shield.
and your dex bonus
That would put me at a 14.
Ooh.
at a 14. So one of them will hit you. Okay.
Plus 2.
Shield's plus 2, yeah.
What I could afford is a +1 shield.
For 18 damage.
Wow.
It's a good hit. Good hit.
Unless you have anything special with acid damage. It's a combination of bludgeoning and acid damage.
I could protective field this.
And
I
we're
might as
both
well. It's like the end of the day, right? I will use my side
It's-
dice.
The middle of your long rest.
I'll do a protective field and reduce it
Okay.
by 8.
Okay,
So 10 damage.
you do that.
10 damage.
All right. After that, it will be Candle.
So I assume that this is not a fey, fiend, or undead.
It is none of those.
It is a
Alright.
slime.
Well, since it's my first turn of combat, I'll be making a whole bunch of attacks anyway. And I do magical
Okay.
damage.
And you do what?
Magical. Well, the longsword at least is magic damage. So
Okay.
I believe long swords do slashing damage.
right, but is that
Yeah.
going to supersede the fact that the damage is magical?
Yes. It's the type of damage, not whether or not it's magical.
You don't necessarily know that. You've only hit it with a
Excuse me.
non-magical
You're
sword
right.
so far.
I apologize. I'm
You get out of here.
meta.
I mean, I'll take a swing at it and we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Okay. The one that's on fire, or the one that isn't on
Maybe
fire.
you just miss.
Yeah, the one that's on fire.
All right.
11 to hit.
11 will hit. And don't worry about damage, as it splits into 2 smaller slimes.
Not
Nice.
necessarily bad, because I have AOE on my turn.
So you want me to just keep chopping it up into more and more slimes?
I'm just saying,
so
that
it
if
just
you lower its overall health, it is more likely to die to my AOE. Now it could backfire, and Costigan ends up taking like 12 pseudopod hits, but
because I
That's
can.
I'm willing.
that's the risk the backline is willing to suggest.
Some of you may die, but that is a sacrifice I am willing to make.
Because I can make 2 more longsword attacks this turn.
What,
Because
is
it's
the
my
split one
because it's
still
my
on
first
fire?
because it's my first turn of combat. Yeah, are they both on fire now?
Sure.
Yeah.
They're
It
both
makes
on
sense.
fire.
If they're both pieces are on fire,
Yeah,
you could
I think that's legit. Yeah,
Let's cut the other
stop
one
being
in
on fire
half,
because that.
just for.
If
Even
log on
safer.
fire, then cut log in half. 2 log on.
So you're slashing at one of the smaller on fire ones.
I'm gonna cut the large one that's not on fire in half. So that
Okay.
way we have 2 small ones on fire and 2 small ones not on fire.
Okay.
Or small. Or we don't know what the total originally was.
16 to hit.
16 hits. As you kind of slash into that one, part of it kind of sloughs off, but then it kind of reforms onto it. It seems like that one is too small to become 2 new autonomous creatures. It seems like all of them are at low enough hit points they can no longer be split.
Yeah.
Well, good. So I suppose I can make my short swords are I think piercing.
Yes.
So my offhand attack will technically do.
On one of the fires or not fire?
We'll do one of the we'll do the one that's not on fire,
Okay.
which is a 23 to hit.
23 definitely hits.
For max damage, 9.
It dies.
Nice.
It dissolves into a no longer animate puddle of mundane goo.
Now it's just the 2 on fire.
Azraxis.
Okay, so I'm going to stay back, and I'm going to cast Ray of Frost on one of the slimes.
Okay. All right. The 2 that are left are functionally identical, so they're both the same size and both on fire.
Give me a second. I forgot what Ray of Frost.
Yeah, I was looking at the box the whole time.
The slimes are on fire.
Slime's on fire. I set the slime on fire.
The slime on fire.
That's a
This slime is on
that's a
fire.
13.
13 hits.
All right.
I believe it'll be 2d8 frost damage.
Oh yeah, because it's now 5th level.
Not
Yeah.
sponsored.
Seriously though, if Jeez wants to sponsor us
That is
playing
a-
D&D, that'd be great.
That is an 18 damage.
Wait.
How is it 18 on 2d8?
Oh wait, hang on. I rolled 2d10.
Ah.
That explains
Ah.
That would do it. That would do it.
it. Yep, that'll be me rolling the wrong die. Shut up. That's still 10 damage.
10 damage is still enough to kill that one.
All right. And I'll cast it
There is
again.
one remaining.
I'll cast
Well,
it
you can
again?
only cast it once.
No?
And multi-attack doesn't work for spells.
Well, then that's it. That's all I'm going to do, because I'm
Okay.
not going up to get attacked. And I
So
want,
the way-
and I want to hide in the back, because I know what's coming next.
The way most cantrips work is they either do an extra dice of damage when you hit 5th level, or you essentially get the multi-attack ability.
But that's only Eldritch Blast with the multi-attack. Every other one just scales damage. That's why Eldritch Blast is busted. Speaking of which, it's the Warlock's turn.
time
There's
for-
one left. I mean, the Wizard.
Listen, you really don't need to do the AoE anymore, because it's just...
Yeah, it's just the one. First Eldritch
Yeah.
Blast is a 10. Oh,
Uh-oh.
we have frozen.
Goodbye.
I think I froze.
Goodbye.
I froze.
All
didn't I?
frozen.
Oh.
Is it still recording?
Don't worry,
Okay.
Erickson. I killed it.
Erickson, have a cook.
Oh, I wish. Roll your. I assume you're Eldritch Blasting it? Is that what you're about to say before?
I rolled a
roll
10.
throws? A 10? 10 hits.
Okay. I will
You
do-
also get to do 2. Because it's
I do.
Third,
So that is
one handle
a-
and depleted cookies is going to kind of work. Should have grabbed 2, just to start.
6 damage, Reno.
That's enough. The last slime dissolves to nothing. Woo!
Ladies and gentlemen,
Um,
we got him.
So there's good news and there's bad news. Good news is you have successfully killed the slime. The bad news is taking a close account of the back of your wagon. It seems that the slime has eaten a lot of the dry rations out of the back of here. It seems to have specifically dissolved anything that was like dried meat, anything that seemed to be like from animal, like a meat of some sort. Dried and cured meats. So you're left with other dry rations, but even more boring dry rations, and a decent amount of them have disappeared.
Damn.
So how many days did we lose?
Return to the forge.
You think you probably lost about 15 days worth of rations.
So-
It seems like this thing dissolved a lot of food.
Looks like we're back to foraging for a little while.
Yep. I'll be back on the old foraging rolls. Looking for everybody's favorite mushroom.
No.
I have my field guide and everything.
I think it's
Going forward, as I'm like navigating through the Underdark, I would like to keep my eyes open for any good places for fishing, because I have
Okay.
fishing tackle. Preferably, like kind of shallow pools.
You don't want the deep water.
Yeah. If it's like, oh, this would be a good spot to fish, but I can't see the bottom, I don't really think it's probably a good spot to fish, knowing the Underdark.
Here. Go ahead and roll me your survival check. You guys will be able to complete a long rest after this.
What do you think's in the
And
water?
if you would, roll me your survival check for the next day.
Terrible things.
And how good this is will determine if anyone else needs to
Giant
roll something.
tentacled things. Things with sharp teeth.
that hurt.
Things that fuck with your mind. Make you jump and paddle around in the water instead of participating in a story-important combat.
Things that make you eat dirt.
I'm not bitter about the one time we've actually run into an aboleth in the campaign. Survival roll is a 21.
21. You do a very good job of following the directions, which means no other D20 roll today, as this is the day you will be arriving to a scripted event. But before we do that, is Axel going to be using his basin on this journey?
Our base?
Your basin.
Your basin.
Oh, yes.
Just to see what you have for the day.
Just to
Maybe you
see.
roll that.
It's a D10.
Yes. No, it's a D12. It's a D12.
2.
Roll the 2 on
2. Rolled a 2 on both. That's weird.
Ominous.
It's fate. Fate really wants him to have whatever this spell is.
You get Isopetra, the Spear, which allows you to cast the spell Intellect Fortress.
I will look up what that does.
Probably we need to have that when we meet the mind player.
That's probably fair.
That is very timely. I think it. Yeah. So you have resistance to psychic damage and advantage on intelligence, wisdom, and charisma saving throws. It's a concentration spell for up to an hour.
Okay.
That seems like it could be very useful.
Good to know.
Just put that on before we beat him.
Yeah. Before we walk in, I'll be like,
Lock my brain in a fortress. All right, let's go talk.
So, moving through this, eventually you open out into what looks like a fairly large cavern. This large cavern has a pretty nice, sizable-looking cottage in the center of it.
Suspicious.
It's like large stonework cottage. It has some like metal paneling and stuff along certain parts of it. It seems quite sizable and very well made. And surrounding it, there's many different mushrooms and funguses kind of growing in a big field around the outside of it. And that field seems to be completely infested with these small worms that give off a faint glow.
Gross. Hey, nature fellers, you want to see what those worms are?
I suppose I can take a crack at it.
Can I look for
Roll
my
take
mushroom book for what the mushrooms are?
Will this be an
Sure.
Underdark roll on the worms, or are they of another world?
Yeah, they're not of another world. And you can make an advantaged nature check as well about these.
17 on nature of the nature of the worms.
15.
The nature of the worms.
For the
50.
nature of the mushrooms.
You would know that there's a wide variety of mushrooms here. Nothing you're seeing immediately has any blatant harmful or useful sorts of things. Like, you don't want to eat any of these, but none of them are going to puff something in your face that kills you. The glowworms are just that. They're glowworms. They're a type of bug that eats off of fungus and is fairly common in the Underdark. This is weird to see this many of them, but they are essentially completely harmless.
They've been intentionally cultivated here, probably. From our good friend. I cast Mental Fortress on myself and go knock on the door.
From our good friend, I cast a spell to defend myself from him before I say hello.
Just in case.
Walking up to the cottage, you are able to knock on the door. And there is a bit of a pause, and then the door will open.
Drow. About
Howdy.
missing friends and family. About, I don't know, a scene in the Underdark.
Why did we think he would know all this?
Because he's crazy.
Because he's
He's a crazy hermit, may know things.
yeah, but he's like, he's
That's why
a,
you talk to the barman.
we don't know this necessarily, but I know that an Alhoon is like the lich version of a mind flayer, and they're like supposed
Well, we
to
did
not
get
quite
info
all
that he
know
might
it,
know
but,
what we were
yeah,
looking
he's
for.
literally a like broker of information,
Yeah. He's known in these parts.
a wheeler and dealer.
A wheeler and dealer, yeah.
I'll tell you what you want to know,
Entering,
but
so
in
it
return,
seems
I can
that
teach you
this door has been opened by some sort of telekinetic means, as there's no one immediately there as the door opens, and it seems to step into an office space at the front of this. You can see the inside is really the like skeleton of a once cozy cottage interior. You can see the like bones of what was once kind of like a warm hearth room of a cottage, but is now kind of cold and lifeless. There is some fungus growing inside on like corners and stuff of the walls of this room. There's also a desk kind of on the far end of this room that has lined up above it 3 skulls, one of which looks humanoid-ish, like probably human, but it's kind of a little bit thicker in certain parts and a little bit more squat, probably a dwarven skull. And then set on either side of that is what looks like somewhat humanoid skulls with like broken out pieces of the front, probably mind flayer skulls. It seems like what was once the skulls of, it seems like 2 mind flayer skulls and 1 dwarven skull mounted above this desk. Sitting in the desk is another thing altogether. Let me go to K-Fix.
It's his receptionist. Do you have a meeting?
have to make an appointment. We can get you in next week.
You can see sitting at the desk what looks like a mind flayer, but what's left of one. None of you have probably really seen a mind flayer in person, but have heard stories. Some of you, which is kind of like a waxy purple-skinned cephalopodic style creature, like kind of like picture a squid head on a humanoid body, but with kind of purplish blue skin. This is very much that similar shape, but the skin is a dry, spongy, almost think coral-like white color, and it seems like dry and raspy and coral-like in texture. And you can see the tendrils that dangle from its mouth around kind of a beaked mouth, instead of being tendrily and like winding, are fairly slack, and some of them seem to be kind of brittly chipped away. And it looks up at you all as you enter, and you can see its hand descending down as if it just used it to open the door.
Well, I'm scared. Let's leave.
What was
save.
what was his name?
K-Fix.
K-Fix.
K-Fix. And
Hello, Mr. K-Fix, sir.
he's like, greetings. What brings you to my domain?
We're in search of some information that we might be in possession of.
Very well. Enter. And all of you funnel in, I assume.
Yeah.
It's the kids next door thing where we're all like, we're drawn as one asset, so we all just like shove it.
It's the like goons from Korgoth of Barbaria.
Yeah. Rabble, 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 rabble.
Rabble, 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 rabble. He'll say, I will ask that you all stay at that end of the room.
Rabble, rabble,
After you all enter in, he will kind of wave and clutch his hand, and as he does, the door will close behind you. No like locking or latching, but it just closes.
Okay, when we leave, I'm gonna open the door automatically.
You just flex a little bit.
You ain't the only one.
Oh man. Okay, so we had who had the list of questions?
It wasn't me. I thought you wrote it down.
Where's my mom?
Yeah, we were gonna ask about the drow. We were gonna ask about like if he knows what's going on with the drow, where we can find more information about him, if he knows anything about why they're kidnapping people.
Right.
How do we find this ivory syndicate so we can murder him?
I don't think that was part. Was that part of the questions?
I mean, it's not a bad question.
It's not a bad question.
What happened to Gritch specifically? I don't know. We can always ask him where to find treasures, I suppose, but I'm sure that's what everybody comes here to do. I'm sure 90% of the questions he answers are, where could I find treasures in the Underdark?
Ooh, you know what? I can ask him for something that has to do with my gear. Where is it?
One whose brain is at least 80% alcohol content by volume.
What is the airspeed
He
velocity
will-
of an unleavened swallow?
He seems, his face is like, again, it's fairly stone-like, it's coral-like, but it's fairly stone-like in that it's very stiff and unmoving. And he doesn't speak, like the beak doesn't move as he speaks. You all just hear a voice. And the voice is fairly, you know, it's fairly monotone. It keeps its same tone, and it is direct in the way it speaks to you, and just being, what questions do you ask?
Well, I guess the first one's how can we get to the Drow city?
Well, we kind of roughly know where the Drow city is, right?
You don't really know. Malcolm didn't know how to get there. He didn't know where it was. That's why he kind of told you this person would probably know.
That was. I feel like that was like our first big thing was. And isn't this a particular Drow city? I'm sorry, I forgot the name. It's escaping me.
Vordra is the name of the
Vordra.
city. That's the one that's the
On this side
Drow
of the
city, as far as you all know. At least the one that's in this area of the world, in the Underdark.
Turns out all Drow
We
cities
wanna
are
know
just
how to
in the
get
center of
there.
the earth.
What'd you say?
We
There's
want
two
a
people
map that
calling.
will get us there.
Get us to Mordra.
Vordra.
So you're asking him for
We need
a
a map
map
to
to Vordra.
Right.
A map or really good directions that we can write down.
Go south until you fall down a big hole.
He will say,
More cookies?
I know many paths to the Dark Elf City. Some of which less seen than others.
The less seen, the better.
Does that
is
mean nobody
information
has?
you can purchase.
Does that mean nobody has seen these paths, or that you won't get seen if you take these paths? Theoretically, that tunnel will get you there, but nobody's ever gone down that tunnel and come back to say whether or not it is.
I've never seen that path. I just assume there's one there.
I know a path that few drow eyes see regularly. A forgotten path. This is information you may purchase.
What is the cost?
3
Is this
gold.
your only question?
Well, anybody else got anything they want to pile in over here?
I'd like to know if he knows anything about. That's the wrong sheet. Alchadrick? A Thrykeen that's on the run somewhere in the Underdark? Or if he knows why the Drow are, like, kidnapping nobility.
Okay.
Look, we might as well ask a dozen questions. That way he has to make us do something really extravagant as payment.
Sir Daldram Astanthian is looking uncomfortably at this creature, but hasn't made any moves.
Does our old Dragonborn knight friend have any questions he would like to ask?
Are you asking him if he has any questions? He says, I don't think I want anything from this vile creature.
I'll try.
The Kafix will first respond one at a time, so I can keep this all straight in my head. So you asked about Drow. He already told you about the Drow path. He said he knows a way to the Drow. What were your 2 things you just asked about? They were
if he knows why the Drow are kidnapping nobility, specifically noblewomen, it seems like. And if he knows anything about an Alchadrick. It's so hard to say. Which I have written down as Thrykeen on the lamb.
Where's my mom?
Where's my?
He will say that.
Where's my mother?
I do not know the machinations of the Dark Elves. If they are capturing these individuals, I will tell you for free that it is for nothing good. I know no Alchadrick, though I do know of the Thrykeen.
What even are they?
This is less expensive, but information you too can purchase.
Anyone else got pile on?
I got a question. Would you have an idea on the location of? I believe it's an elf by the name of Suri, or I don't remember. It's one of the tasks that I got from Asmodeus.
Okay.
Huh?
You'll say that, like, does he know of Suri?
Yeah,
you think
Suri.
it's an elf?
I couldn't remember how you say her name. Yeah, Suri.
I don't think they gave you a specific species of whatever it was, but that you killing Suri was one of the things you had to do.
Yeah, I thought he said I thought elf was mentioned in there, but I could have been wrong. I could be wrong. It's been a while since that moment happened.
You've died since then.
He will say, I have clarifying questions. This Suri, how do you know of them?
It is a name that was given to me as part of a specific deal. And I'll try to be as vague.
Infernal variety? He bluntly asks.
Criminal variety?
Infernal.
Infernal.
Oh, infernal. Yes. Because if he knows, I can't argue with him.
I mean, you are
I know
tiefling. That's kind of racist.
I know of one who at one time went by this name and frequented these caverns. That is information you can purchase.
It's me.
It's me.
Disintegrate!
Stands up, takes off robes to reveal a uniform with a name tag. Stitched into
Hello, my name is Suri.
I was supposed to find out something about Weldra. I guess the only thing I got was Weldra, so it's kind of like.
Well, you got your book. You know that Weldra was one of the betrayers.
Right, and it was like that they. But did they? Is it that they got away, or was it that they like?
The only thing that you found out is that it was some sort of punishment for what they did. That they did gather some sort of power by kind of cheating the ritual,
Right.
but that they were also punished in some sort of way.
Right. Okay, so I'm gonna ask if he knows what Weldra's punishment was for their betrayal.
Whom did Weldra betray?
The Raven Queen.
As soon as we meet a spooky NPC, everybody's just like reveal character secrets out loud.
He's the Wikipedia, okay? We're like, he's the Google He's the Google of this.
And there's no way to hide your search history when the whole party's here asking questions.
Yeah. Listen, I wasn't trying to reveal a lot of my backstory, but he obviously knows why, so why bother?
When you say that they betrayed the Raven Queen, he will say, one of the 10 Nagpardin. I know of this. This too can be purchased.
Okay.
Well, to start us off, what would be the cost of you telling us a route to the Drow city that would be not obvious if we were to take it?
Yeah, I guess
get us there without being waylaid by Drow patrols.
Are these going to be all rolled into one cost, or is it
I
going
think
to be
each
on
of
an
our individual
basis?
costs will probably be paid individually. This goes into the party fund, but we do have our individual
This
questions.
is the one that I'm the most concerned about.
Yeah.
But it's
Well,
gonna.
yeah.
I have little use for gold, information and favors, tasks. I have one in particular that is not easy, and so long as no more information is requested, would be fair trade should it be completed successfully for all of these questions.
What do you think, Sir Dramastantian? An adventure in order to get a bunch of information we need from an eldritch horror in order to save a bunch of people from the Drow? That seems like an
If
adventure.
there,
No, we need to clean
he
the
said,
gutters.
I don't trust this vile creature, but
It doesn't rain in the Underdark.
That's why it's so nasty.
It's just full of mushrooms.
This.
No, it's full of mushrooms.
What salesman convinced you you needed rain gutters on your
I
house?
swear he could sell rocks to a drow.
The plot
he
twist
will
is it's
say-
only mushrooms, but only Durmir can clean it.
I do not trust this vile creature, but if there's an evil, a task, a threat that even such a creature as this fears, it must be dark indeed, and a fine adventure to go on.
Of course he said that.
All right. Well, let's hear it.
Lay out your task.
There is a facility, once operated by my kind. A laboratory. Abandoned, for they were only partially successful in their goals. And he will kind of raise his hand up, and you see on a bookshelf nearby a strange sort of orb kind of float and land in his crispy, corally fingers. And as he turns it around, you can see it looks like essentially a eyeball, like it's a circular kind of fleshy white color, but with no veins or pupils. Just the entire sphere is kind of a fleshy white. And he says, "This will open the doors. They will close quickly thereafter. 24 hours, the doors will open again." And he will float it out of his hand and towards whoever was at the front of you.
Shit.
Who was at the front of the group? Axel or?
You just hold up a satchel and try and catch
Yeah,
it.
it's the freaking holds up our little the circle.
Okay.
Portable.
It
hole.
gives off a faint bit of warmth, and it is kind of squishy and fleshy in your hand.
Ooh, it's like a teddy bear.
That's one way
Sure.
to do it. Yeah.
Yeah, a teddy bear. That's the closest resembling thing. And then Kafix will say, in that 24 hours time, you will need to navigate this laboratory and find inside of it some
Thing.
experimental creatures, specifically small worms. They will have a bluish color. I need one at least. These were the hope of this facility to master and create. one of those returned will be adequate payment.
So what I'm hearing is we have to get.
Is
What if we
there-
bring it back inside someone's head?
Yeah, can we contain them in like jars, or would they be?
They should be quite dormant, unless awoken.
Well, how do we not wake them up?
There's
And
information that could be
he kind of
purchased.
like, with a fairly emotionless face, it gets a slight bit of confusion as he looks at you, and he kind of says, "Don't wake them.
Yeah,
They are dormant. Do not awaken.
So like whisper around them?
They should not be sensitive to noise."
Okay.
Okay.
Good.
Tiptoe around the house and
Don't nobody put one in your mouth for fun. Not even
Lala.
for a dare.
Lala.
I'm gonna infest myself with every single variety of brain parasite I find and let them fight it out for dominance.
He will go on to say, "This facility was abandoned due to the experiments with these experimental creatures. One such test subject was able to escape its confines and not be kept under control, and made the laboratory unlivable.
So we need to spend 24 hours inside of a sealed Resident Evil facility with an escape test subject that made mind flayers abandon it.
And he will continue saying, "I have sent one other group to achieve this task, but the laboratory is only a few weeks away, and I have not seen them in months."
You know what that means? Loot.
Dead bodies.
We should return
dead body.
to town first
We
and get.
Yeah, I don't think we have the
weeks away where?
Into the Underdark,
Right.
down a cavern.
Like is I'm just saying. Vickelroyd lost an expedition in the Underdark at least months ago.
yeah, but we're better than those guys.
Do you remember the names
Well.
of the folks that you sent?
I did not exchange names.
Fair enough.
If does he have a is he going to give us a map to this facility then, or
I can provide coordinates to you, a pathway to arrive at this place without fail.
okay? We'll know here in a minute whether or not this is Vickelroyd's.
Alright, we all need to go buy means of mind shielding.
And a nuclear weapon.
And a shotgun.
We should have got the shadow.
The shotgun's for me.
What the hell's in there?
The Shadow Dome? Well, potentially, because it's just like, an evil monster. We just trap it in the Shadow Dome and go about our business.
To the other world.
But see, then it just goes and picks up the shadow down and just runs.
It's
after
just,
them.
it's just running around with the Shadow Dome, hoovering up things in the
We just
facility.
made a much worse monster.
That seems about on par.
Yeah, that sounds on par. That sounds like we try to cheese it.
And he will then speak, saying, "Are these terms agreeable,
Oh yeah.
or shall you be returning my bulb?"
Yeah, that's. I think that's what we got to do.
We gotta do it. We'll do it.
Who will accept the map?
Bird.
The little bird guy.
Well, the bigger bird guy.
So does that mean
Do not resist. As he raises a hand towards you.
Can I get behind?
you resist?
Can I get behind Candle and give him like a bear hug so that way he doesn't like try to move?
I won't resist against?
You
don't
try to
think
go
you
up to
could.
give him a hug. You as you like move up behind him, you see him go limp, and as he's like falling over, the K-Fix's hand kind of rise, and it's like he's falling, and you're going to catch him, but he kind of gets caught by nothingness in the air, floats up on like kind of flat on his back, and swivels, so his head is like he's floating on his back and his head is facing towards this creature, and he kind of does like a beckoning motion and his body slowly floats towards the alpha.
And that's how I got my brain eaten by Alhu. Mr.
And
Code,
it kind of floats
Mr.
right up
Alhu.
in front of him, and you can see him reach out and,
Yeah, but I'm not like awake to notice.
and reach and grasp the top of his head. A kind of flash of purple energy radiates in his eyes, and Candle's body kind of twists and convulses in his hand. And then he lets go of his hand and floats him back across, gently laying him to the ground.
You were flying.
You should have seen it. It was amazing. All right.
Hey, Dergar, can you do that?
I go over to Candle and give him a little like stop.
As you slap him around, he kind of, it seems like he was asleep, and he's waking up.
Hey, buddy. You know where the facility is?
You wake up with, like you've just woken up from a fairly restful, nice sleep, and you feel like you've had a super vivid dream of wandering through a specific cavern and like through a specific path, and you have it like a core memory from that dream. Like it was a super vivid dream that you remember the entirety of. That is a pathway.
The first thing I would like to do is cross-reference it with the map of where Vickelroy's old expedition was headed when they went missing.
Okay.
And see if it's the same place.
Go ahead and give me a D20 roll of... Call it survival. Survival to read these maps well.
13.
13. There's a potential that these paths cross, but you're not sure how close the end of these two paths are to each other.
Because there was something about them going to explore like a ruin field or something, right?
Correct. That was kind of the previous expedition. They had found the outskirts of a ruined field, and were going to explore this ruined field when they did not return.
Non-zero chance. I would. The other thing I would like to do immediately is begin working on a map of this route, just in case something unfortunate happens to me before we get there.
Okay.
Fair. Yeah, but it's like several weeks out. We just don't have the rations for it because of the ooze. So.
It'd be probably if you are going with a direct route and you're moving efficiently, it would be less than 2 weeks to get there. You have approximately, let's see here, 32 days of rations. So with the trip there, a return trip to K-Fix's lair, and then going back, you have 1 extra day of wiggle room worth of rations with your current amount.
Potions and stuff that specifically have like mind shielding things, though.
I don't think we would be able to afford it.
I have 500 gold.
We can at least inquire. Here's the thing: if we're going into the deadly laboratory, we might just like see if we can pull it off. Like we might as well edge our bets.
So I think we have one chance with this key thing. Like I opens the door, we have 24 hours, and then I think we're out of chances.
Yeah,
I don't think we can go back.
Well, also once we go in there, we're trapped in there for 24 hours.
Yeah.
So
I'm
I think for our
more.
survival's sake, we need to like get some items specific to dealing with a mind flare experiment.
I'm more in the camp of like, well, let's push our luck, see what happens. Let's just go for it, because that's also the type of character Candle is. I just don't necessarily want to like just make this expedition about like 4 days of wandering out here and then heading home. Like, I think between foraging and stuff like that to extend our rations, I think we could probably, at least food-wise, we can do it.
We could push our luck.
Don't worry, you got those locks in your helmet.
And if we run out of food, we can always get some fried chicken.
I don't think.
Yeah, make sure you draw out that map.
No, guys, you're forgetting.
Come on, guys! I'm a crow. That tastes terrible.
Listen, we
I
have.
heard Gator's pretty good. too.
We have a gator who's aged.
Dibs on the
too.
legs.
Dry aged gator.
Sir Daldram Astanthian. At this conversation, Sir Daldram Astanthian will say, "If you've brought me out here to talk to some creep in a cottage and then go back to the city, I don't think you all for weaklings of adventurers."
I'll sue.
Well, I don't care what you think, because I think we should be prepared.
I don't. The problem is we can't be prepared because we don't know what's down there.
Yeah,
Well,
like
the mind flayer experiment implies mind fuckiness, so any kind
You're
of,
being a grandma. Let's go.
potions or items that can help with that. I mean,
Couldn't have said it better myself, Dame Lalaprina Lorlipsy III.
Thank you.
Dwarfkin.
Dwarfkin?
Sir Dame Malafo.
No, Dame is the.
is
the
the-
thing, sure. I mean, I vote we go for it.
I'm fine going for it.
I-
Just
I-
saying.
I think this
I'm
is-
gonna wish we had gotten some, like, I don't even know what kind of potions or something.
Well, again, it's just more. It's exactly what Will said. It's like we could try to prepare for mindfuckiness, but then there's also the chance that this has nothing to do with mindfuckiness.
We drink all our potions of mind shielding, rush into the room, and it just eats us.
Yeah.
It casts fireball. Like,
I don't care how small the room is. Fireball.
The Mind Flayer tried to eat my brain. Luckily, I had a potion of mind shielding, but it turns out its beak still worked.
I'm just glad I have the locking helmet.
yeah.
You'll be fine.
Slow
And also, there's no guarantee
It
that
seems
even
like
the experiment.
it seems like the one reasonable person is outmatched by the group being like, "Tally her!"
I'm like, hold on, guys, this is extremely dangerous. We should be prepared for this.
Oh, shut up, you ninny.
I'm not a dwarf.
Be more constitute.
We've been over this. I'm not a dwarf.
So it sounds like you will be heading towards, and he will say that the name of the name of the facility was the Suzilt Laboratory, and to the Suzilt Laboratory you will all be heading next time on Skygate. Thank you everybody for watching, and we will see you in the next episode.